Hi you guys, welcome to the first day of forensics camp. We are going to be doing some fingerprinting today, so here's what you're going to need. You should grab your day one fingerprinting evidence bag. In this bag, you should have an ink pad, as well as a little cup of a dry charcoal powder and a glass slide, as well as a paintbrush and Model Magic. That one looks a little bit like Play-Doh, but it's a little bit different. You should also have from your crime scene journal a fingerprint record sheet. Yours looks a little bit different than mine. I did mine freehand ahead of time, so it looks a little bit different than yours, but you should grab those and then we'll be set to go. All right, you guys, I'm going to show you how to roll your finger into your ink pad. We want to make sure that we cover all of the areas of our finger so that we get a full profile because we don't want to leave anything out. So we are going to start with our right thumb first. We're going to roll it from starting to the left side of our thumb. We're going to make sure we roll all the way around. If your ink pad is sliding around, go ahead and grab it too with your other hand. Just make sure you cover the whole area, and you can kind of lean and check. Make sure that you're covering the whole area. Make sure you get the tip of your finger too. There is a print all the way around, so you just want to make sure you cover everything. If it goes on the side a little bit, that is totally fine. Just make sure you get a good covering, okay? So when you feel like you got a good covering, flip it over and check. Give yourself a thumbs up. Check and make sure. So you guys should already have your fingerprint record sheet out, and now you have a good covering of ink on your right thumb. So we're gonna go ahead and put our right thumb in the square labeled R thumb. And as you guys can see, your sheet has a square labeled for each of your fingers already, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to put your thumbprint down in the square. So we're going to do this in the same way that we put the ink on our thumb. We're going to start on the left side of our thumb, and then we're going to roll all the way around to the right side, making sure we kind of get a little bit of the tip at our finger too. I like to keep my hand in a fist. It helps me to roll my hand around the same way I did it in the ink as well. Whatever way you feel comfortable rolling your hand, sometimes it's kind of a awkward feeling. So whatever way you feel comfortable, go right ahead. You don't have to do it the same way that I do. Oh, got a little bit of ink on my finger. That is okay. If it happens, it'll wash right off. Just make sure you do wash your hands before you go around and touch everything in your house, because you are going to have to do this for every finger, as you can see on your sheet. So make sure you do wash your hands at the end of this, but go ahead and do it with me. So we're going to start on the left side of your thumb here. So we're going to put that down and roll all the way around. See if you can get a good print on there. Awesome. All right, so you guys saw me post a picture of my right thumbprint on my profile. So go ahead and use that technique and fill out the rest of your profile using that left to right roll, getting the tip of your finger as well. Fill this out, and then go ahead and use that guide with the types of prints that is in your journal, that picture. Use that. Identify what you've got going on with your types of prints. Maybe write them at the bottom of each square. Maybe this one is an arch, and this one is a whirl, this one is a loop. See what you've got going on. See if you have all the same. Maybe you've got a couple that are different. Maybe you've got some really unique ones going on. Write them at the bottom of each one, and then take a picture of this if you can. Take a picture of this and share this on our Padlet, on the fingerprinting Padlet. We want to see what kind of unique things you've got going on. So forensic scientists will use a charcoal powder, just like what is in that little cup that you have that is labeled with the C. That dark powder is a charcoal powder. So a way that you can do that today is by using your glass slide that is in your day one fingerprinting bag. So your glass slide right here, it's a little hard to see in the video, but glass slide. And a way that you can do that is by using your own fingers on your glass slide. So if you don't have very oily fingers today, that's okay. Use your hair. Sounds a little weird, but run your fingers through your hair on your scalp. You've got natural oils in your hair and on your scalp. So if you run your fingers through, you get a little bit of those natural oils on your fingertips. So now you've got some oil on your fingers, so you should be able to get a print off of your fingers that you might not have been able to get before. So you're going to want to use your glass slide, and I'll hold it up so you can see what I'm doing. So you can use any finger that you want to. I'm going to use my thumb again. So what I'm going to do is put that print right in the middle of my glass slide here. So you don't want to rub because you might not get the real print that you would get. It might kind of smear. So you want to just lightly press right in the middle of your glass slide. You might want to do yours down on the table. I'm just holding mine up so you can see what I'm doing. But just press so you kind of get a good print right on your slide. Press firmly enough so that you get a good print, but don't press too hard where you're breaking that glass slide because we want you to be safe. So now you've got a print on your slide. And then what you would do is carefully open up your charcoal powder. And then I got my charcoal powder open and I've got my paintbrush. So what I'm going to do is lightly, very lightly, it's a very dark powder. So I've got my paintbrush dipped in there. Got lots of it on there. So you don't need very much at all. So I've got it dipped in there, and what I'm going to do is tap my paintbrush right there on the side. Get as much of it off, actually, as I can, because I don't need very much at all. Don't need much at all. So I'm going to tap, 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 get as much of it off as I can. I'm going to set that down. Then get my slide back up here in the screen. I'm going to tap just over my slide. Tap some of my charcoal powder down onto my slide. So what this is doing is dropping some of my charcoal powder down over top of my print. And this charcoal powder is going to stick to that oil that I left on my glass slide. That's going to allow my print to be seen. And then what you're going to do is, one, you're going to want to put the top back on your charcoal so you don't accidentally spill it. And then you're going to want to take your tape and you're going to want to lay it over top of your slide. Just a small piece of tape, and you're going to want to lay it over top of your slide. And you're going to want to lay it over so you're not creating any air bubbles. And you also want to have it smooth enough where you can move the tape up without smearing your print. That's key. You don't want to smear your print because then you lose your print and then you can't see anything. But you want to be able to lift your print. That's what you're doing here, is you want to be able to lift your print, okay? So lay your tape out flat. And then once you get it flat with no air bubbles and you don't smear your print, then you're going to be able to lift your tape off. And then you're going to put it on a piece of white paper. And you'll be able to see the charcoal outline of your print.